California 90095, or email at tfruiz@history.ucla.edu. This course is a course that really is composed of three mini courses. One dealing with the history of mysticism, another one dealing with the history of heresy and apocalyptic movements in Europe, in Western Europe. And the third one, an examination of the witch craze, a period between the end of the 15th century and the end of the 17th century, in which people in Europe and in the New World were persecuted, brought to trial, and executed because they were believed to be witches. So in a sense, we are going to try to link together these three very different courses. I want to point out to you that this is a course about the history of these movements and not about religion. I will deal with religious issues and so on, but I will do so from a kind of critical perspective of a historian. Not so much what the mystics wrote and what is the nature and character of the mystical experience, although I will do some of that, but essentially I am concerned with the way in which this mystical experience or these heretical movements, or these apocalyptic movements, shape the history of a period, and indeed added and reflect the mentality of the age. I think we should keep that in mind as we go through this material. I also want to point out that this course also, in a sense, combines elements of high culture, or the history of high culture. Mysticism is, should we say, a cultural product of those who read and write and who are able to convey their ideas, whereas some of the apocalyptic movement, some of the elements of the witch craze are part of popular culture. And one of my aims in this class is to see how high culture and popular culture are connected. What is the circularity between one and the other, between the kind of esoteric knowledge on the one hand and the kind of popular beliefs on the other. Having said that, I would like to begin with some stories, some vignettes, which are somewhat emblematic of the kind of material that we are going to examine here, and some of them are personal in nature. Let me begin with the beginning of a great collection of anthropological data and folklore written by James Fraser in the early 20th century. It's the Golden Bough, and it begins with an account of rituals that were performed in a grove, in a lake north of Rome, the grove and lake of Nemi. And Fraser tells us the story of this grove, this lake, the Mirror of Diana, it was called, that was dedicated to Diana. And there, a priest presided over the cults and rituals of the place. This priest was a king of the woods. And it was very peculiar and unique to antiquity, the manner in which this priest was selected. This priest was selected by slaying the previous priest. So that in order to become a priest, you could be running away from justice. You arrive at the lake, and if you can overcome and kill the man who is in charge of these procedures and these rituals, you yourself become the new king. Become the new king of the woods, the new priest. You have to spend your day in vigilance, because if you are caught unawares or asleep, you will be slain by the man who is going to succeed. The story of the Lake of Nemi, which is indeed very ancient, touches peculiarly on some of the themes of this course, because it is about the king who must die and the king who is resurrected, about a God who dies and is resurrected. Let me tell you another story, and this is a personal one. In 1972, I was doing research in Spain, in the city of Burgos. I was working in the cathedral archives in the city. And late April, after I have been for many months working in these cold and dusty archives, I went to Galicia, which is in the northwestern part of Spain. I went to visit friends there, and I lived in the city of St. James of Compostela, Santiago de Compostela, for over a month. And one weekend, some of my friends said, let us show you the countryside. And we went in a cart, three of us. We went by the coast, which is a very beautiful coast. Galicia is an old Celtic homeland.